Good good morning, everyone. Jamie here, Mind Over Matter, Thursday, 9:05 a.m., not just 9. Well, how's it going? I was having some how shall we say? I just wasn't sure what I wanted to cover or how I wanted to approach today's show. Because there's been just a lot of different things being done, and I've been a part of a number of different shows in the last little while, and there's just a lot of similar things being done and sort of repetitive, right? So it gets you stuck in that little bit of a loop where, so even my mind is often being turned back into those things, and so it makes for sometimes a more difficult creative process, right? Not that it's impossible, but here's to the Tim Hortons merger. It's all good. So I guess I titled today's show "Why Global Online Franchise," and I think I wanted to sort of move in that direction for today, because we have a lot of hangouts and we have a lot of information, and I think one of the things that gets kind of overlooked in all this fun, because we're all part of the same team, is why we all should, or why we are a part of global online franchise, and why we should be. And the thing for me is that there's just a lot of stuff on the internet. There's just so much junk, and there's some really good stuff, and it's really hard to find your way. I'm trying to get comfortable. Sorry here. Trying to find yourself a something you can lock into and move on, right? And I think we often overlook celebrating the successes, and that is a huge part of mindset, because it's what actually gives us the foresight to push forward, or not the foresight, but the can't think of the word, motivation to push forward. Once you figure out that you've found yourself a project you can really sink your teeth into, and we'll go for it, right? So now, for me, I think that the biggest part about GOF that rings as such a powerful component is the number of people that are coming into the global online franchise and are having so much quick success. I mean, I've worked with a lot of people who've made no money online for a long time, and who have struggled and hopped around, and they just one person that I've worked with for a long time recently just moved on to working with someone else, because they never really ever made any money. So their solution was to move on. So their mindset told them that the problem was the people he was following. Follow me here at this moment, but the people he was following, and that is where the catch is. That if all you ever do is follow, that's a mindset, and that's why nothing's working. I take an example like there's two specifically I can think of, and Carolyn and David in our global online franchise, who are both fairly new to the whole process, and they have both had different versions of success. David's pulling down a few $100s a week, or whatever the exact number is. It doesn't much matter, but the success is there, and it's not specifically because he's following somebody, because David goes into the training that's provided, asks some questions in the Facebook group, spends some time being educating himself, and then takes all of that information and applies it in action. Same can be said for Carolyn. Okay, so when they apply that action, magically, magically, they have some success. Well, it's not really magic. Really, it's just a matter of, the equation is quite simple. Skills plus action equals success. It's not really that hard. So it's not a complicated equation. It's 1 plus 2 is 3. It's 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 that simple. But many people they're looking somehow for well, let's call it the easy button. All right, they're looking for the easy button. We've all seen the Staples commercials. They push the button. No, now that was easy, and they're looking for that so that they can they push this button, and then magically the success comes, and money flies out of their computer, and their bank accounts are full of money, and etc. And quite frankly, that's not entirely wrong, looking for an easy button. But think about this for a minute. What do you have to do to have an easy button actually work for you? You still got to push the button. It's action, right? Metaphorically speaking, push the button one time and boom, everything's done. Okay, so that's not necessarily an accurate description. But let's consider this. I personally think that GOF is the magic button. It's the button that when you push it, money will fly out of your computer. But here's the catch. You're going to need to push it multiple times a day. You're going to need to push it down and hold it. It's like putting your foot on the gas pedal, and you don't take it down, take it off. It only works if it's pushed every single day and multiple times a day. I kind of wrote this. Remember, I think I showed this in one of my shows. This little idea I had when I was talking to somebody, and I wrote it all down. That's what that was, right? And it just kind of flowed into this this concept we're talking about here. But that's what I think Global Online Franchise offers. It offers that easy button. Now, that's not to say, I'm going to put some disclaimer on the whole thing, is that's not to say that if you just join in GOF that automatically you're making money. Nothing works like that. Nothing. If you have a mindset that dictates to you that you can join something or people and you'll make money, you're destined for a frustrating time in internet, in the online industry of making money, and in MLM, and in network marketing, and in any. That kind of mindset belongs in the job mentality. I show up, you give me the job, and here's the catch that these people, I say these people because they're kind of in a little group together. Even this one person I'm talking about that's a good friend of mine. You put them in this little group, and they inherently don't realize that they have to do work to get that paycheck, right? But it's still the same idea. If you come to online, the online industry, an online world, or network marketing, and you want to, which is for the smallest investment ever, you can start your own business and you can make whatever kind of money you want. Tens of thousands of dollars a month, $300 a month, whatever you want. The spectrum goes from there to there, which is crazy. But at the same time, it's an easy button. And when I say easy, it doesn't mean that there's no work involved. It just means that if you come to the table every day with the attitude that this is what I'm going to do, here are the tasks I'm going to complete, this is what here's the education I'm going to give myself, here's the here are the people I'm going to associate myself with, here are the actions I'm going to take, and it's all laid out for you. I mean, we had Paul Birdsall very graciously donate a 30-day guide to the global online franchise system, and really, what else do you need? Like, he's pretty much launched you into he's pretty much not launched, laid out the plan for you that just follow it, right? If that's not an easy button, it's like it's an easy button all wrapped up into a 30-day guide, right? But you got to keep punching it. 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 It'll work, but you got to keep punching it. So there's no magic there. You know, I used the word magic earlier. It's not really magical. It's just doing some work. And I know people get caught up in the mindset of they get caught up in, well, you know, it's funny because I wrote something on my Facebook wall the other day. It's a little bit more of a I'm just grabbing a book here. It's a little bit more centered around the idea that around spirituality and you know, God and that kind of thing. And I'm not here to preach to you or teach or suggest that you have to be a God-fearing human to have any kind of success. I'm not saying that. If you are, however, don't be afraid to lean on it. I personally am. Okay, but when I read something like what I wrote on my Facebook wall, although there is a slant towards you know, the spiritual side, you can look at it from just a worldly side. It doesn't need to be. And the way that I would read this, if you were just removing that element, it would be when you make solutions bigger, your problems become smaller. That's a mindset. So you're looking for solutions. You're not looking for problems. You're not focused on, oh, here's my problem, here's my problem, here's my problem, here's my problem. I mean, Carolyn is a good example because, I mean, David's, I don't know specifically because I think that David, if I had to guess, and this is just completely a guess, whenever he comes across a little bit of a stumble, he just figures it out and keeps going. And in Carolyn's case, she came across a stumble. She didn't understand how to fix it. She didn't fix it, but she did move on because, as she said, it's something she can go back to later because it's not affecting her ability to do what she needs to do on a day-to-day basis. Both are admirable mindsets. Why? Because both keep you moving in the forward direction. I since spoke to Caroline and we cleared up the little problem. It was just something really, really minor, but she didn't allow it to be a blocker. That's a mindset. Solutions were bigger than the problem, so the problem became smaller, right? When you magnify your solutions instead of magnifying your difficulties, the faith rises in your heart. Now, faith doesn't necessarily, I think sometimes people use the word faith and they think immediately, oh, you're a religious freak. Well, faith doesn't have anything to do with religion. Look it up in the dictionary. It doesn't say, oh, you believe in God. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with having a belief system that keeps you moving in a forward direction regardless of what your circumstances are surrounding you. That's what faith does. And you need to have an absolute faith in your own ability to accomplish the tasks that you're learning and the new skills that you're learning. Again, mindset. But every time that you magnify the solutions and you instead of magnifying your difficulties or the little bit of hiccups that you come across, the faith that you have in yourself will rise. The faith that you have in your ability, the faith that you have in whatever it is that you're believing in will rise. That faith will keep you fully persuaded, right? It keeps you fully in the moment of belief, in the moment of, I can do this. Nothing is, no problem is too big. Push it out of the way and move on. If I have to circle back to figure out what this is because I get to a certain, like a certain point where it's like, okay, if I don't fix that, I'm kind of screwed. Okay, now we've got to here. We'll go back over here. We'll figure what this is. Probably a new skill needs to be learned. We'll figure out what it is, fix that problem, and get back to where we're at. Or we could just sit over here and wallow in the little problem. It's all mindset. The problem can't hold you there. Only you can hold you there with this thing. Where are we here? Pay attention to what you focus on. Pay attention to what you focus on. Probably the most powerful sentence in that entire paragraph for me. I've worked with, and you know, not only I do, of course, you guys have all seen me online. I do my thing, and you know, I try to be a support to people, as many people as I can. You know, that's where I'm going to give another plug to leverage and videos. That's where you can leverage your time by using videos. But as you can see, hey, perfect example. Mr. Paul Birdsall, thank you very much for donating another set of videos when it comes to making testimonial or review videos. That is a leverage tool. Paul's now going to teach a massive amount of people one video. I mean, well, there's 6 videos there, but you get my point. How long did it take him to make 6 videos? I don't know, a few hours. So he invests a few hours of time and helps people for an indefinite amount of time, right? Until YouTube makes some massive changes where all of his videos become null and void, where he can just remake them, of course. But I mean, it's an indefinite amount of time because nothing drastic is going to be changing anytime soon. But it's the leverage of it and his ability to do that. So, sorry, pay attention. I got off track there. Pay attention to what you focus on. That's probably the most powerful sentence in the whole paragraph for me. And why? Is because in my personal life, outside of the online work that I do, I also do some life coaching with you know, one-on-one with individuals. Not very good with it. That's not really a good time leverage opportunity, by the way. I only do that with, you know, a very, like, maybe 1 or 2 people at a time ever, because it's very time consuming. But these people were part of my journey long before I got to where I am now. So it's just part of the process. But I've noticed that in a lot of cases, it's the focus. You know, when we sit down and have a conversation, more often than not, I hear a long laundry list, starting way up here and just going way down here, laundry list of why their life is awful. And I can't help but sit there thinking, and I've asked this question, and so if it was you that finished telling me this long laundry list, I would say, so are you telling me that there's nothing in your life that is good? And they usually answer that by, oh, no, I'm not saying that. And then they'll give me 1 or 2 things. But that just so clearly defines that sentence. Pay attention to what you're focused on. Right? Their focus is so strongly invested in all of the things that are holding them back. So strongly invested in all of the things that make their life a little more difficult, challenging, shall we call it. You know, Jim Rohn always said, don't ask for less challenge, ask for more wisdom. You cannot grow without a challenge. He didn't. The first part he said. But you can't grow without a challenge, right? It's just not possible. I mean, you can't fly without gravity. So where's the challenge? Well, the challenge is there's a law of nature dragging you down to earth. You need that force of gravity in order to create flight. Without it, it's not possible. When you go into a zero gravity chamber, or you go in, like when the guys are in outer space or whatever, they can't fly because there's no reverse, there's no challenge. Like there's no gravity pulling them backward. There's no flight. They just sort of float. Floating and flying are not the same. So just consider that whenever you face a challenge, it's part of the process of getting you to where you need to go. And that's, again, a mindset. A challenge comes on. Do you say, oh, that's it, I can't go any further, boom, big wall, there's a wall, can't go, that's it, this is over? Or do you try and peek over that wall and go, oh yeah, right on the other side, the success is right over there. I just got to get onto this wall, it's right on the other side. Right? So the focus has to be on the end game. You know, you've heard it time and time again. Perhaps some of you who are newer, maybe you have not, because I don't know what you've been reading to this point. I don't know what kind of audios you've been listening to, and I don't know what kind of people you surround yourself in your circle of influence, your inner circle of influence, right? But for those of you who have, you'll have heard this before, that you need to write out your goals. They need to be written out in short, medium, and long term. They need to be, you know, there has to be some sort of finite definition of where you're going. Otherwise, when you hit the roadblock, what's keeping you on track? Now, developing your why, as we call it. See this right here? Start with why. One of my favorite authors and one of my favorite orators. He's a great speaker, Simon Sinek. The start with why is where you. This is, I mean, no better title of a book in my opinion. You know, well, Think and Grow Rich is right up there, but to think and grow rich, you need to start with your why. And when I talk about the goals, that's where the why comes in. You know, and that's a definite process, and you may want to talk to your mentor or somebody who's who's working with you with your success to help you define your why and define your goals so that you can have something that keeps your eye on the prize. Pay attention to what you're focused on. Are you focused on your why, or are you focused on all of the problems? Right? There's only 2 sentences left in this paragraph. I got really hung up on the focus. Care for what you focus on, because it is so inherently important in the process. Be aware of what's playing in your mind all day. Very, very powerful sentence. Just be mentally aware. Consciously aware is the word I like to use. Consciously aware. Take notes if you have to. You know, you get some weird thoughts in your head, write them down. Start to journal what you're thinking, just so that you can start to see, what am I thinking during the day? How is my brain, you know, where am I going? What am I focusing on all day long? You know, Frank Kern had done I watched a great video of him doing a seminar, and he talks about, you know, what you think about sort of when you're driving your car or when you're walking, or those thoughts that just sort of pop into your head while you're not really thinking about anything. You're not specifically thinking about a task, or you're just letting the thoughts randomly roll through. Those are really important things to make note of, which goes right in line with be aware of what's playing in your mind all day. Mindset is so powerful, guys. Are you considering your circumstances? So follow it up. I'll read the last 3 sentences all together. Pay attention to pay attention to what you focus on. Be aware of what's playing in your mind all day. Are you considering your circumstances, or are you considering your solutions? Or your why? I mean, it says God, but so I'm trying to figure out a better word here. Are you considering your solutions, your why, your goals, your destinations, your faith? What are you considering? Are you focused and considering your circumstances all day long? Or are you considering where you're going, how you're getting there, who you're going with, and when you're going to arrive? I wonder if I can remember what I just said. Are you focused on what you're doing, why you're doing it, who you're doing it with, and when you're getting there. Those are the things you need to focus on. Or is it a bunch of stuff like your circumstances? Oh, you know, I'm too fat. I'm too tired. I don't have enough time. My family thinks I'm crazy. I'm, you know, whatever. I don't know. I mean, I'm just making some stuff up. Who knows what it is? Everybody's just going to be different, right? So, but you have to protect it, guard it. It's like the most valuable asset you have. Well, guys, it's about 9:30, so I'd like to throw it over to potential questions if there are any, and it can be about anything. It doesn't have to be specifically about what I've talked about. And I know I opened it up by saying that we're talking about why global online franchise. To circle back to why, because the reason why is because I've seen so much success from the people who have either A, struggled for many, many, many years and found success here, or it's there's so much valuable information for so little that for so little investment that it's mind-boggling to me at times. Like I even sometimes I go through there and I think there's just so much stuff in here, and I've heard that from some of the newer people that, you know, there's just so much information that, you know, I think we've actually had people that quit. Like they come in and they look around, they agreed to spend their $20 and then they cancel their membership, and there's too much stuff, it's overwhelming, I can't learn it all. Well, who said you had to learn it all? Like, but anyway, the point being is you don't have to chase around your family and friends. I mean, that's a huge component. I know that many people who want to start their own business, especially network marketing and MLM, I mean, the first thing they're taught is make a list of your family and friends. Granted, there's two sides to that coin, of course, and for me it's, yes, you should make a list of your family and friends, but the reason isn't because your upline told you to. The reason is that when you find something that can change people's lives financially, personally, mentally, when you can find yourself in a community of people that are genuinely interested in helping you progress and grow and move forward, and make some money along the way, whether it's $200 a month or $200,000 a month. That range is here. It starts here anyway. And, you know, with the progression through Global Online Franchise through to the Academy of Online Success, it's a match made in heaven, and quite frankly, for whatever limit you want to put on yourself, we can get you there. And then the reason why you would make that list of family and friends is because you should, on a certain level, there's a wee bit of obligation just to say, hey, here's what I'm doing. Don't want you to call me a year from now when I'm making $1 bazillion and be upset that I didn't tell you about it. That's all. You can even use that line if you like. You know, I think Jim Rohn had talked about, when he talks about the law of the ratios, or maybe not the law of the ratios, he just calls it the ratios, sowing and reaping. I can't remember where it fits in there, but you know, when you get to be at the point where you know, let's say you get 3 out of 10, everybody you talk to, you get 3 out of 10, which is rock star, by the way. He says that, you know, he approached his family and friends that he would be very happy if they would just be one of his 7. And that meaning that, you know, he knows that he doesn't care if he said, I don't care if you like it, I don't care if you join, I don't care if you whatever. He says, I just want you to come and listen, because I need you to be I'm 100% okay with you being one of my 7, one of the 7 people that doesn't join, so that I can get to my 3. Right? So it was that concept, and he did throw in at the end of it that, and it's true, that at some point I don't want you to say, well, you know, you found this thing that makes you millions of dollars, why wouldn't you have told me about it? Fair point. Fair point. But that's why it's the beauty of the link. The beauty of the link that we have. You just toss the link over there and say, hey, here's what I'm doing. Take a look at it. Join it, don't join it, don't care. Moving on, right? Because that's where your advertising comes in, and the training that we give you with the advertising, how you just can continue putting your link in front of people, and you don't have to chase anybody. And when you're approaching if you do go to the family and friends thing and you're interested in doing that, by all means, go ahead. Don't chase anybody. Don't chase anybody. You can't make them see it. Just throw it in front of them. So it's a numbers game, guys. So anyway, I don't see any questions. It's 9:35. I'm just going to close this up pretty abruptly. Bottom line is, figure out what you're focused on. Make sure you're going in the right direction. If you don't have goals and a why written down, I strongly urge you, as homework, to get on that. You can't. Your focus needs to be far beyond the current actions you're taking. Your focus needs to be far beyond the current actions that you're taking. Because in order to overcome obstacles, you need to be looking through them to where you're headed. It's that simple. Again, it's all mindset, guys. And protect it with every ounce of your being. Hey, I'm Cinq-Mars. Global Online Franchise is the place to be. Very happy you stopped by. We'll talk to you soon. Take care now. Bye.